It has been extremely rough since all this noise started.
They don't need to know what a Bitcoin is to understand that a fan that is cooling off a computer is making noise.
It's a form of psychological torture.
When you mess with somebody in our communities, I'd like to think you mess with all of us.
Bitcoin really does suck. It costs the consumers and the county and the community thousands of dollars. It costs us in our electric bills, it costs us in our health, it costs us in our property values, it costs us dearly. None of the community here knew they were coming. We didn't know that this was going to impact our lives until it came in and did.
People might not realize how tender these communities can be. They're intelligent people. They just want to be treated fairly, and they know what a Bitcoin mine is. They don't need to know what a Bitcoin is to understand that a fan that is cooling off a computer is making noise.
Texas has become a major hub for America's Bitcoin mining industry, thanks to a surplus of already existing power plants, lax regulations, and industry-friendly politicians.
Texas is on course to become one of the biggest producers of Bitcoin in the world.
Crypto's like catnip to politicians here. Senator Ted Cruz, Governor Greg Abbott can't get enough of it.
I want the state of Texas to be the single most favorable location on the face of the planet for the blockchain industry.
Something I really took away when I was researching what was going on with the blockchain is that it was supposed to be a net good.
In 2021, Hood County Commissioners approved a new Bitcoin mining facility on the lot of a gas plant in Granbury called Wolf Hollow 2. Marathon Digital Holdings, one of the largest Bitcoin holders in the world, set up shop at the plant in Granbury and then purchased the facility in December 2023.
The way that it was sort of brought into Texas, it was happening very fast, which is always something that I feel like, journalists, it's a red flag. How is this gonna have, what impact is this gonna have on people?
Nobody did any research. There was no environmental impact studies, no impact studies on humans or livestock or anything in this area. They just came in and plugged into the gas mine or the gas power plant and set up. We had no idea. There was nothing done.
The Wolf Hollow Data Center, which houses more than 30,000 computers, began running in the summer of 2022. Thousands of fans churn constantly in order to cool the machines. Cheryl Shadden lives just north of the mine, across Mitchell Bend Highway.
So if you see across the pasture, across the road, those are the Bitcoin miners. They've got banks and banks of fans in there, and that's what this noise is from.
In our interviews, we used professional microphones to isolate voices from the hum of the nearby mine. Because Cheryl lives so close by, the background noise is most audible here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The noise became unbearable. The noise got louder and louder. I started contacting people on social media and asking if there were any other problems in this area. Everybody's having the same problems: headaches, dizziness, hearing loss, inability to sleep at night, sounds that pervaded our homes, rattled our walls and doors and windows.
I hardly get any sleep. It is so loud, and when I raised up, I just started throwing up. I couldn't stop and sick. Oh my gosh.
And is it going to take somebody dying before somebody really does something? And who's going to be responsible for that?
I mean, I'll tell you what, it has been extremely rough for the last 3 years, ever since all this noise started. It causes you to just be at your wit's end all the time.
People who live near the mine say the noise levels are worse on some days than others.
2 months ago or something like that, I passed out and my heart quit on me right there in this house that we're in. And I came back too, my heart come back beating. And so I went to the doctor, and when I got there, my heart quit on me again. And they finally got me back. And the doctor that was there was a specialist who puts in a whole different kind of a pacemaker. Well, I didn't have any heart issues before I came here. And I don't know, I can't prove that any of this sound system, that sound out there has pushed me to the point of being stressed to the max. I can't prove it to you, I don't have any data to give to you, but I just know what's in my body and I know what I've been through.
It's a form of psychological torture to have constant noise exposure. It's been done for years, and it's very effective in those regards. In these people near the Bitcoin mining facility, they could find themselves lack of sleep, depression, anxiety, and there's even been some studies out there that have shown that there's associated with possible cardiac and blood pressure issues. I think these people have a valid complaint, and I think it needs further investigation at least to determine if their problems can be associated directly with it.
Time has spoken with more than 40 people who say they've experienced health issues, and local doctors who say they now see patients with noise-related complaints on a regular basis. A growing field of scientific researchers are measuring the impact of urban and industrial noise on humans.
Dr. Munzel, my name is Andrew Chow. I'm a reporter for Time magazine. I'm calling you because
Dr. Thomas Munzel is a German scientist who studies how urban noise, mostly from machines and especially at night, can be a debilitating stressor on the heart, brain, and cardiovascular systems. I was out in Granbury a couple weeks ago talking to the people in the town who are experiencing all sorts of health issues. Do a lot of these track with what your research shows?
Yeah, so this is really shocking to me to see that these people are getting exposed to these very high decibel levels. So I think this is to me like a torture, especially if this is running all day long, also during the night. When we have very high decibel level, let's say above 90 or 100 decibel, then you can get damage of your ear organ. And when you have less high intensity noise, let's say between 50 and 60 decibel, then you're getting annoyed about the noise and you're developing stress. You get high cortisol levels or sympathetic nervous system activation. And if you have this for a long time, actually you develop your own cardiovascular risk factors. So blood pressure goes up, diabetes develops, and your cholesterol level go up. There is really an urgent need to stop this noise exposure just to keep the people healthy.
Noise regulation is largely a local issue. In New York City, for instance, a noise code theoretically caps restaurant music and air conditioning at 42 decibels. Texas has a cap at 85 decibels. It is the loudest state limit in the nation.
So I popped 86 right at the end. I wanted to make sure we weren't going to get that car's interference.
Hood County's residents are overwhelmingly conservative and pro-business. Constable John Shirley, a former member of the far-right militia the Oath Keepers, is no stranger to strong opinions about government overreach. But this issue seems to have brought the town together to push for more regulation of big business.
This is a sound meter I purchased on Amazon. Anybody can purchase one just like it. It's considered a certified sound meter.
I spent about 6 months taking readings around the plant. I picked like 5 or 6 different locations around Wolf Hollow 1, 2, and the Bitcoin mining facility, and just different times of day, different weather patterns, different temperatures, trying to figure out, was there rhyme or reason to what was going on? I finally reached the point where I had a confidence level that they indeed were potentially violating the law.
Those are kind of the main places I was testing for probably the first 6 months.
The law that I'm operating off of is a disorderly conduct law in Texas. It absolutely was not written for industrial noise pollution. It was written for a neighbor who makes too much noise with their garage band.
Constable Shirley has started writing $500 fines for noise violations against the company.
I want to say it's like 35 to 39 somewhere in their citations
that I've written them.
Marathon has requested a jury trial to overturn this low-level misdemeanor.
The citations will work their way through the court systems, and either a judge or a jury at some point, hopefully, will get to hear testimony from people in this community, which to me is, that's going to be the backbone of this part of this issue.
Persephone, she lived here before we moved in. She was my dad's. And then after we moved in, she became our dog. She was a healthy dog. And then she started going bald. And we took him to the vet. The vet didn't really give us an answer except she has an autoimmune disorder. People were complaining about themselves losing hair. And I was like, well, if it can happen to a person, I have a dog with no explanation of why she loses her hair. Every once in a while he gets patchy and she stinks.
Continued exposure to low frequency noise is harmful to the human body and also to animals as well.
Tonight's town hall is ongoing, about quarterly town hall. And ever since this has been on the plate, they've been well attended because there are lots of really pissed off people.
I've got a mobile home that my daughter and my grandkids moved out of because my grandson had 4 ear infections in 4 months that the doctor couldn't explain why because he never got sick.
My mom can hardly walk because of vertigo, but we don't have studies that say that that's affecting it. Well, the Surgeon General didn't either whenever they put out the warning about cigarettes until people started dying.
Why can't they be shut down? Because I guarantee you one thing, if I go out there and break the law one time, the second time, I'm going to be in jail.
We love the freedom that we have in our counties particularly to live the life that we want to live and to really have government out of the way. But you don't have liberty as a private property to then harm others. There is a time and a place where your rights are interceding and superseding other people's, and we can't allow that to happen.
Marathon should be coming to the table to help. Why don't they pay to insulate all these people's homes? That would help.
Marathon declined an interview with Time. In a written statement, a company representative said that the majority of air-cooled containers will be replaced by immersion cooling, which is much quieter, by the end of 2024. The company has presented a noise mitigation plan, which also includes turning off idle fans and planting vegetation around the mine. A $1.9 million sound wall, built in 2023 by the site's previous operators, seems to have made very little difference.
Here we are kind of on the tallest part of the sound barrier wall that was erected about a year ago. Some of the noise on this side has been mitigated by the wall. I'm not going to say it's been satisfactory to the people who live here.
Electricity bills have skyrocketed in Hood County since the mine moved in.
The electrical consumers here in the state of Texas are subsidizing these Bitcoin mine operations to go in the state of Texas. In the winter time, my typical electric bill, and I have gas heat, would be $100. My electric bill in the winter now is $300.
And everyone is worried about their property values.
We would love to move. We can't sell our homes. None of us can sell our homes. Nobody in their right mind would live here. No Bitcoin noise. I don't want any Bitcoin noise. I don't want to hear any of this.
It's nearly impossible to prove that the Bitcoin mine directly caused any of the strange afflictions in Hood County. But as the anecdotes add up, they've only escalated the stressors of a community that now feels constantly under siege.
People should care about this story because it could be you next. If you don't have legislation in your communities, if you don't have state legislation that's protecting you from this, it takes a long time. What's it going to do if it props up in DC? If it's going up in Maryland, if it's going up in Virginia, you're going to have no escape.
If God has put us at the front leading edge of this issue for some reason, I believe we should be open to the idea of truly finding a solution for our state, definitely for our local area. And if we can, in that process, partner with these companies and not go at it adversarially, then hey, I'm all for that.
Not that I'm angry with them and not that I think that they're wrong in being over there with their business that they're running. I think they're wrong in forcing that noise pollution on everybody around them. I think that's wrong.
Moving is not on the table because this is the house where I grew up. I want my parents' legacy to continue to live through this house. And the goal is to leave it to one of our children so that they have a great place for their future children.
We don't want huge monetary settlements. We don't want to be relocated. We just want to live in our homes in peace.